Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Mr.SpinosaurusAS, coming at you with another video. This video is going to be quite different from the other videos that I've made, obviously, because there's no gameplay in this video. This video is going to be a start of a possible miniseries in which I will be calling Tea and Crumpet Time with Mr.SpinosaurusAS. And essentially what this is going to be is it's going to be a form of blog and podcast. There will be no imagery except for whatever image I decide to put up on the screen. And it will be mainly about me discussing my thoughts and opinions on a certain subject, and basically to converse with you guys, which I think is going to be a lot of fun, because I'm interested to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts on a multitude of things. So, I have to start out by saying that I don't want to make this video in particular. This video contains a topic which is very near and dear to my heart, but with what I have seen, I feel like I have to make this video because it's been an interesting time. For those of you that do not know, or that haven't read the title to this video, which I'm not sure how you managed to click upon this video without doing that, we're going to be discussing, as of April 5th, 2021, the situation of Primal Carnage Extinction, the game. Now, what is it exactly that I want to talk about? Well, I want to talk about the game in its current state in general, because with the two new updates, the anniversary update and the one before that, which was the St. Patrick's Day update, I've kind of fallen out of touch with the game, and I'll explain why later. But before I get into any critiques, I would like to commend this game. It is a game that's had a lot of hardships. It's a game that has a very dedicated community to it. And I am astounded to see that Primal Carnage Extinction has gotten as far as it has, because there was a time where Primal Carnage Extinction did not have any new updates, did not have any new dinosaurs, new weapons, cosmetics, so on and so forth. It was a drought, as they put it. And for a game to bounce back from a drought like that requires an enormous amount of support, both from the developers and from the community who continues to play the game and give the game funding. So, kudos to that. And I would like to state that I love the game. You know, it's very special to me. I remember when I was of smaller size, not necessarily too small, but around middle school age, when I first got into Primal Carnage, and I would spend my time on the role-playing server, and that tickled my fancy for about 2 years. Met some really good friends on there that I still talk to every now and then, and it gave me some really cool ideas for some characters, which I love doing. I love creating characters. I love creating environments for those characters. So it acted very much as a mental stimulus for me, whilst I was focusing on schooling and the rigmarole of normal teenage things. It was a nice getaway. So Primal Carnage is very special to me, and I am in no way making this video to try to end Primal Carnage or try to eliminate it, or I'm making this video to call attention to a matter that I feel needs to be called upon. With that being said, the game has impressed me. since it came out of, I guess you could call it retirement, with the addition of mutations, the Ceratosaurus, uh, a whole bunch of skins, new gameplay mechanics, and a lot of that is more to come. It it really shows how the community can impact a game, because when I was playing Primal Carnage in my younger years in our role playing, I came up with the idea similar to mutations, to where we would have, cosmetic things that would change the looks of our dinosaurs and maybe give them some bonuses, some negativities, and some aspects to change the playstyle up a little bit. And I thought it was a good idea. Uh, Obviously, mutations took a purely customization cosmetic approach, which I still find entertaining. And I mean, obviously, it sells a lot because I see a lot of mutations going around on the servers. So, with respect to that, I feel like that helped out a lot, and I feel like that was a great move for the devs of Primal Carnage Extinction. And I think that is probably one of the main contributors, as well as the Ceratosaurus coming in, to what really kind of saved the game. Because after the addition of mutations, after the addition of premium skins, the Ceratosaurus, new gameplay mechanics, quality of life features, new weapons, Primal Carnage Extinction has just taken off. It has a lot more individuals who play it, and may I say, these individuals play it religiously sometimes, which I find interesting. So, Primal Carnage is very good in that retrospect, and I'm glad that they made the improvements that they did. But now we get into the negative aspects of the game right now. And a lot of it is not necessarily... Okay. The main issue around the game Primal Carnage Extinction at this current date is balancing. Now, I hear a lot of you people saying, well, yeah, Mr.SpinosaurusAS, Primal Carnage Extinction hasn't necessarily had the best balancing in any game comparatively. So, I mean, it's nothing new. What's the big deal? Well, let's start from the beginning. The armor system. The system that gave all dinosaurs weak points, medium points, and strong points. Depending on where you hit the dinosaur with your weapon, you would deal either extra or minimal damage to the target. That's a great idea. However, where they decided to put these hit markers was interesting. And the fact that Ceratosaurus, to my knowledge, does not have a critical hit marker still. So that's interesting. I don't think it's necessarily the root of the cause of the problem, but it has a hand in it. I think that all dinosaurs should have weak spots. I think all dinosaurs should have strong spots. And I think those spots should make, decent sense. But one of the problems that I have is the weak spot of where they placed the tyrant. And this is going to go off into something else, as you'll soon find out. So, the tyrant's weak spot is the head, which I have felt was precarious because a lot of tyrants, mostly Rex, somewhat aggro, Spino kind of, have really large heads. And it's a really large target to hit. And not necessarily a hard one to hit either. It's extremely easy. Someone with basic, understanding of how to aim and shoot could probably deal significant damage to a tyrant. So that plays a role in the bigger scheme of what my issue with the game is, and that is the fact that tyrants right now are incredibly, incredibly weak and underpowered. Which is fascinating to me, because Primal Carnage has always, always enforced that the tyrants were the tanks of the dinosaur classes. Yet, when you get in game, tyrants are shredded if they don't know how to properly take cover. And that really is the issue that I have, is the fact that a tyrant who is supposed to play very dangerously, who is supposed to be the anchor of the team, is forced to hide behind a few trees and buildings in order to not get absolutely manhandled. And when you're a big target, such as that, it's rather difficult to hide sometimes. I can understand why they made the decision to make tyrants a little bit more squishy. But at the same time, they've made them so squishy that they have no sense of presence anymore. And really the only way to succeed as a tyrant is to be surrounded by your other dinosaur classes. But the problem with that is tyrants don't get anything in return. They don't get kills. They get assists, sure, only if they use their roar. But they're so slow that they're not going to be able to get to a target before, say, a raptor, a carno, or anything in between. And in the update, to where they added the armor system for the tyrants, and where they minimalized the tyrants' overall size and up to their HP, the PCE devs explained what they desire out of the playstyle of a tyrant player, and that is to flush out enemy humans from, buildings, natural landscapes, so on and so forth. And I never entirely got that either. Because tyrants being as squishy as they are, if you are going as a tyrant into a swarm of humans, you're going to get obliterated. You're not going to draw anyone out. You're going to get absolutely dominated. And furthermore, I didn't see tyrants as a class who dispersed the human team. That was always the raptors or the carno's job. It wasn't the tyrant's job. It was the tyrant's job to distract them and pick off who they could. But overall, it was the other class's job to flush the humans out into the open to where the tyrants could get them, not the other way around. So, tyrants are squishy. Okay. Obviously, you can still play tyrant. You just have to adapt your playstyle a little bit. Okay, that's fine. But here lies another problem. The tyrants have been knocked down a peg. Okay. Excellent. The game is more balanced now, supposedly. So while these tyrants are knocked down a peg, let's make a weapon specifically designed to fight tyrants and make them weaker. I'm talking about the heavy assault rifle, which was given to the scientist in March Madness, the St. Patrick's Day update. It is a slow-firing sniper rifle with only 4 bolts in the chamber. However, it ignores armor. It ignores armor. That is incredibly deadly to any tyrant. Not only do they have a weakness, a critical weakness, that is blatantly obvious, easy to hit, like the head, but now they have a sniper rifle, a long-ranged weapon, that ignores all of their armor, and I believe does more critical damage when hitting a critical damage spot. So now the tyrants have 2 stacks against them. What's the point of playing tyrant? They're unmaneuverable, they're slow, and they're sponges for damage, and not in the good way. So, Tyrant obviously needs a lot of help from the team, which teamwork hasn't necessarily been something that is ingrained in the PCE community. You have the general consensus of stick together as a team, but you don't necessarily have the general consensus of someone needs help, let's help them out by using this weapon on them or doing this action to save them from death, so on and so forth. So to get help as a tyrant, you kind of have to, instead of being the one to lead the charge, you have to be the one who follows the charge. And again, you're slow, you're unmaneuverable, you're not going to get a whole lot of kills against a competent human team who knows how to stick together, who knows how your advantages and disadvantages match up against you. We had a similar problem with tyrants a little while back, during the Extinction event, when they decided to rework tranquilizers. That has not yet been changed. Tranquilizers are still incredibly easy to hit against tyrants, and they still drain so much stamina. And stamina, maybe not for the humans, but for the dinosaurs, is everything, because that enables them to get away, that enables them to use their abilities. Stamina is everything to a dinosaur, and in order to be a good dinosaur, you need to learn proper stamina management. But what do you do when all of your stamina is suddenly just gone? And even more, what do you do when all of your stamina is just gone and you don't know why? Because some sniper is up on a rock, which you now can't get to because you can't run, and they're just pelting you over and over from down below. And obviously, if you try to approach them, they're either going to A, continue to pelt you, or B, run away, turn around, and pelt you more. So you're screwed in that retrospect as well. Okay. But you're still a pretty good matchup against, Pathfinder, Commando, Pyro, and Trapper. Oh, wait, Trapper. That's right. Trapper nets don't enable you to run. You can't run anymore. So let's go over this. A trapper hits you with a net. You can't eat anyone to regain your stamina or health. Okay. That's fine. Logical. But now you can't even run away from them. You are forced into a position where you cannot run and you cannot fight. That is what bugs me most about this game. Single target crowd control. The ability to allow someone to not play the game, essentially is what that is. That's what I have problems with. That is my problem with this game. Its inability to properly balance its classes. Okay. So humans are obviously pretty strong. Especially against tyrants. Okay, cool. But, Mr.SpinosaurusAS, we have other classes in the game. Yeah, you do. Let's talk about one of those classes. Let's talk about Tupa. Ooh. I hate Tupa. I hate Tupa. Why do I hate Tupa? Because they buffed Tupa. Even before the buffs, I hated Tupa. Tupa is Carno. Yes. But also no. Carno is locked to the ground. He can only perform horizontal movement. Back and forth. Tupa, on the other hand, Tupa has all matter of movements. Because he's a flyer. Vertical. Horizontal. Diagonal. Tupa can go anywhere it wants. And all it has to do is run into you. Okay. There are still workarounds for the Tupa. Yeah, sure. I mean, sure, it's an easy class to play, but it's by no means overpowered. What's this? Oh. You no longer have to sprint as Tupa to do damage. Interesting. So now any Tupa can just hold W and kill an opponent. So what does sprinting do? Oh, it launched the opponent into the air. Oh. Okay. They need to revert Tupa. Tupa was perfectly powerful before this change. I don't know why they decided to change it. Because now I'm getting games where there are just swarms of Tupas. We're saying, okay, well, why is Tupa strong? Terra has the same level of movement as Tupa. I mean, sure, it doesn't need to run into people, but Terra is what I would consider the perfect dinosaur class. The perfect class for what it does. It does its job, it has the ability to do its job, and it needs skill to perform its job. What is its job? Well, its job is to hone in on one target and strip them away from the team. Okay. How does that require skill? Because you need timing. You need to press the button a certain distance away from your target in order to even pick them up to begin with. But not only then, you then have to dodge bullets in order to keep them in your grasp whilst flying up to kill them via fall damage. I have a huge admiration for individuals who can play pterodactyl at an impressive skill level. These are the problems I have with the game. We have I would consider to be three overpowered classes in the game, and one underpowered class. Tyrants are underpowered. Tupa is overpowered. Scientist is overpowered. Trapper is overpowered, to an extent. Trapper not so overpowered as Scientist, but still there. I've said this multiple times. Sniper is fundamentally a very strong class in concept because she can kill 4 out of the, 7 classes? 9? At any distance. At any time. With no charge up. No anything. Snipers are inherently very powerful because of that one concept. So why in God's name would you make Sniper brainless and overpowered? Because the Primal Carnage devs, this is a hunch, the Primal Carnage devs listen to the complaints of those of the vast majority. The vast majority cannot play Sniper very well, because before all of her advanced items and rework of the tranks, she required a hefty amount of skill, a hefty amount of timing to play properly. And by all means, there were some impressive snipers back before all of this happened. And I mean impressive snipers. But unfortunately, they're all overshadowed because she now has overpowered weapons. So the devs listened to those individuals who could not play Sniper because of her high skill level. Wah, I can't play Sniper, change it. And that's what they did. They made Sniper easier to play for the common man, for the individual who doesn't want to put the time, who doesn't want to put the effort into learning the class and understanding how to properly use the class. That's what aggravates me. So how do we fix this? Okay, let's go down the list one by one, shall we? Let's go down the list. First, how do we fix Tyrant? Because Tyrant needs to be fixed, like it or not. Keep the size of the Tyrants, because I like their ability to go into places that they didn't used to be able to before. That's fine. Change their critical hitbox. Where? I would recommend the ankles. If you're looming above them, you're not going to get a very good shot. You can still hit them, but it's not going to be very easy. And below, you're also probably not going to hit them very often because, I mean, well, you're going to have a swarm of raptors over them. Or, you could argue the arms. T-Rex has pretty small arms. It should be pretty easy to hit. Or not pretty easy, but it should be pretty difficult to hit. But not so difficult to where it's impossible. And I mean, if a Tyrant is rushing towards you, you still are able to shoot it at that critical spot. If you're looming above it, you can still hit it. It's going to be harder, but you can still hit it. The head is too big of a target. You need to change that. And no, I'm not saying shrink their heads. Just put it somewhere else. If you have to make a new hitbox, fine, make a new hitbox. Okay. Also, easy way to fix Trapper, just allow Tyrants to sprint while they have nets on. It doesn't make any sense. So there, boom. You fix Tyrant and you fix Trapper. Okay, how do we fix Tupa? Just revert the changes. Developers don't like to do this because it proves that they were wrong. But they need to revert Tupa. Tupa was fine before, and it didn't need to do damage by just pressing W. That's ridiculous. Alright, now how do we fix Scientist? Well, that's a more difficult situation. Her weapons are theoretically fine. The heavy assault cannon, if the Tyrant hitbox was changed to be a little bit smaller, then that pretty much fixes that weapon. No big deal. You can still pierce the armor of the Tyrant, It'll still do as much damage as hitting a non-armored spot. So that's fine. Now what about Tranks? I would honestly just give Tranks damage over time, and that's it. No stamina depletion. Nothing. Nothing like that. Just make it like flames. That is the best situation that I can think of for doing it. Or give it an ability to where you shoot certain spots of the dinosaur that is highlighted to your team, and if they hit that spot, they hit it without any penalty of the armor. It's just a normal hit spot. No armor, no critical damage. It's just a normal hit spot. Make it a more team-based weapon. That would work. I don't see why not. But how do we stop from this happening again? I don't know how the Primal Carnage dev team works through their updates of game development. It certainly feels like that they don't test it. Enough, anyways. And admittedly, it's very hard to do, because we as players probably think more outside of the box than the devs do. But that's why it's okay to revert changes. Because you push something out and you say, oh, this is going to fix an issue. And it doesn't, it makes it worse. You then take that and say, okay, that didn't fix the issue because of this. Let's change that and replace it with something else. That is how you develop a game, in my eyes. Again, I would like to preference that I love Primal Carnage Extinction to death, and that I do not want to make this video. It's not about malice. It's not about attacking the game. It's not about attacking the devs. It's simply about stating what I feel is lacking in the game, what I would change about the game, so on and so forth. I feel like I'm allowed to do that. Criticism. I know it's something that people, and especially devs, don't like to hear. But criticism is what makes games better. To me. And a dev might look at this video and say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to we're not going to do anything about it. We're just continue to go on as plan. That's fine. I'll still make videos on the game. I'll still play the game because I love the game. And I believe that the devs are trying their absolute hardest to make the game the best it can be. Some people say that I judge this game a little bit hard. And I agree. I judge this game as if it was a AAA title. Why? Because that's what all games aspire to be, AAA titles. They want to be the next big thing. Primal Carnage is very niche because of the community that it controls, the dinosaur gaming community. There's not a whole lot of that. Chances are, the same individuals who play The Isle, Beasts of Bermuda, they play Primal Carnage Extinction because they're dedicated to dinosaur gaming, and there aren't a whole lot of dinosaur games out there. At least not recent ones. But anyways, that's my thoughts and feelings on the game. I certainly hope that they change the issues in the game, because I want to see this game succeed, and the way it's going about it now is, in my opinion, not how I want to see it going. So anyway, guys, in the comments below, feel free to leave your thoughts. Discuss amongst yourselves what you think needs to be done with the game. Do you think it's balanced? Do you think it needs to be changed? Do you think anything needs to be reverted? I'm very interested to hear your guys' opinions on this, because I know that you guys are very dedicated to the game as well. Because, I mean, obviously, it's the only thing that I've really covered on this channel. So anyway, guys, I'm Mr. Spinosaurus. I'll see you all next time.